Popular question I get is, how long should I be prepping for my show? Like, when should I start? So if you're new to the sport, maybe you've only done 1 or 2 shows or you haven't done one at all, you need to know, like, well, when do I start my diet? When do I start prepping? Well, the answer really is you're always prepping. Ever since you started lifting weights, you've been prepping for this moment that you're going to step on stage. It's not like you just play around and do whatever, then, oh, it's 10 weeks out. Now, oh, I'm prepping for my show. No, like, if you have a show in a year from now, you're prepping right now. You're going to the gym, you're training, you're eating healthy. You're not just out there eating junk food, going to McDonald's every day, half-assing your workouts, and not training with any purpose. You know, if you're a bikini girl, you're like, okay, I got to work on my glutes. My glutes need more size. Or you're a bikini girl, your legs are too big. You got to downsize the legs, or maybe your back isn't really proportioned. So you're in the gym constantly trying to prep for this show. Now, you might not be on a diet, but you're eating healthy and you're eating to reach your goals. So just wanted to point that out. So there's no real off season. So, you know, there's a season when you're not dieting or you're not starving or whatever, but there's no off season. If you're debating hiring a coach, the sooner the better. So I would recommend you hire a coach way before you start dieting or prepping for your show, as you like to put it. So if you're dieting for, say, 12 weeks, it's better to hire a coach way before that, because if you just hire them at the last minute, they don't really know how many calories you need. They don't know your body. They don't know how you're going to respond to what you're eating. So the longer the coach gets to know you, the better the results are going to be. And especially you transfer from one coach to the next. You know, one thing might have worked with that coach. Your new coach is totally different. Maybe they're a ketogenic coach, or maybe they're into high carbs, low cardio, high cardio. You need to get used to that. You know, they might have one coach having you do 16-hour fasts every day, and the new coach is like, eat every 2 hours. So the more time the coach can learn from you, as well as you're learning from the coach, the better. A lot of people will say, well, I'm just going to hire a coach when I get to nationals. They'll tell me, you know, if I win provincials and I go to national, I'm going to hire you. I really think that it's better to hire me or any coach, really, for the provincial show or the novice show rather than nationals. I'd rather see them hire me from the start to avoid making all these major mistakes. I know when I first started competing, I didn't have a coach. I didn't know what I was doing. I ate 60 grams of protein a day or less, my first diet. I didn't know what I was doing. I was eating pasta. I thought that was healthy because I was like a cyclist, a triathlon guy. So I thought dieting meant eating carbs. So I didn't know. So, you know, having a coach to start you off on the right foot, way better. If they coach you for a novice show and they coach you provincial show, you might even be able to do your national show on your own. And certainly, if you're a national level competitor, you should know your body at this point enough to pretty much prep yourself. I mean, you can always get a coach to learn even more, but you should probably know, you know, if you had no coach, you had to do it, you should be able to do it on your own. You should even be able to help others at this point. If you're a national level athlete, they're doing good, and you've trained for a long time, I feel like you should know enough to help others at this point. So getting really right down to the how many weeks should I prep? It really depends on how lean or how well conditioned you are and your goal at the show. And do you want to suffer real bad, or do you want to suffer not so bad? You're going to suffer either way. There's no question. But how bad do you want to suffer? So I'll use me as an example. So right now, I'm somewhere between like 11 and 12% body fat. So for me, this is about as off-season-y as I would get. And my goal percentage for show would be about 4%. So I'd have to lose 7 to 8% body fat to get in shape. So if I want to do it fast, that's 7 to 8 weeks. I can lose 1% body fat a week. If I want to do it slow, I'm going to go at half that speed. So that would be like 14 to 16 weeks. So if I wanted to do a show right now, say, you know, whatever pro show, if I had 15 weeks, I could just cruise into it with ease, it would be real easy. I could get in shape. There would be still suffering at the end because you're starving, but it would be very easy. By easy, I mean I wouldn't have to do any cardio. I wouldn't have to cut my calories really low, and I wouldn't even really notice I'm really dieting very hard. Now, if somebody said, "Hey, guess what? We just invited you to Mr. Olympia. You're gonna go as a special, guy, whatever." Oh God, I got, say, 8 weeks. I could do it. But it's hard. I would have to actually do cardio right off and drop my calories to like a harder range. So depending on how off season you are, that'll dictate it. Let's say you're a girl and you're 30% body fat, which would be kind of like around the average female, and you want to be competitive, like 15% body fat, like a really lean bikini girl. That's 15%. That's 15 weeks if you want to go hard. That's 30 weeks at a slow, easy pace. So really, if you're 30% body fat and you're a girl, you have a tough road ahead of you to do it in 15 weeks. So 30% is not really a good percentage for you as a female bikini competitor off season. I mean, it's not like you're like obese or something, but you're not in shape, and you wouldn't look like a bikini competitor at 30%. Now, if however you're say 20%, that's really athletic, very lean, off season, awesome, you could get in shape to get down to that 15% in say 5 to 10 weeks. Boom, no problem. So try to see what percent body fat you are and how much fat you have to lose, and then go from there. So let's say the average guy that hires me is usually 15% body fat. That means 10 to 20 weeks is how long it's going to take them to get in shape. And to be honest, I don't want anyone to have to diet more than 16 weeks. To me, if you have to diet more than 16 weeks, you have to not do the show. It's not really worth it to suffer like super hard dieting for 16 weeks. That is brutal. And that really leads you to rebounding after the show. If you don't want to rebound, the slower you lose the weight, the less likely you are to like go crazy after the show and eat a bunch of food. If you lose at the slow pace, you kind of just ease into it and then you ease out of it. If you have to do 2 hours cardio a day to get in shape, when the show's over and you stop the cardio and then you start eating a few different things that you hadn't eaten in a while, not good. It could be a recipe for disaster in terms of like having a rebound. So, sum it up. Try to stay lean in the off season. Decide what percent body fat you are, some kind of a test. If you don't have access to a body fat percentage type testing device, and you can't use the ones at Good Life, like you can't hold on and can't stand on a machine. No. Skin fold testing or underwater weighing or something. If not, ask somebody, like just look at me and say, how much pounds of fat do I have to lose, and figure it out from there. I can guess just by looking. I could say, hey, you got this many weeks to get in shape if you do it fast, this many weeks if you do it slow. So that's the advice I have for you. So try to pick a coach, pick one early, listen to them and follow what they say. Be lean and don't bulk up. I always stress that. Do not bulk up in your off season, and then you'll have no problem getting in shape.